Hey there, guys. Today we're going to talk a little bit about considerations for concealed carry. Now, concealed carry can take upwards of possibly, I can't exactly remember at the moment, but multiple weeks to, or even, you know, I think it's around 10 days or so, depending on your state, to get your concealed carry license. But and buying the holster, buying the gun and stuff, and getting your insurance, I really recommend doing that too. But I do think that there are some times where we need to be more aware of how a scenario can go down in every case scenario. Imagine you're going after work to a gas station. Let's say you're at a gas station at night. You are, in a lower lit area. Let's say you're cleaning at later hours. A lot of times you don't really realize, but that can be a thing. Those of you that are stay-home sort of people, whether you're elderly, or whether you just prefer to stay home as a stay-home mom, or you work at home as a dad, there's a lot of different things that can happen in a scenario very, very simply. We don't really think like a robber. We don't really think like a criminal, and neither do we think we want to hurt anybody. But unfortunately, the evil side of different sort of culture wants very much to hurt someone, whether they have done whatever it is. I don't even bother even mentioning. They really want something to do with not being, leastwise, not you being existing. Okay, that's all my concern is at this point, right? And what can I do as a citizen, logically and legally, to necessarily defend myself from said a certain attacker? Well, first of all, I could, grab a baseball bat, or I could just simply be a little bit more harsh, and more of a, you know, more sensible mind, meaning, hey, maybe I should use a firearm myself. If you're using one, I think it's definitely my right to have one as well. Those of us that are stay-home moms specifically, I know I have sister-in-laws that um, they very much are very, very good at what they're doing. They are home cooking meals for their children. They are protecting their young ones all the time, and even in 1 in the morning. They're doing absolutely a fantastic job. Really, really good. So my recommendations is to those of you that are doing that, are stay-at-home moms, whether you are a nanny, whether you are a part-time nanny, or whatever it is, a person that takes care of children, a teacher, for goodness sake, at a public school. I mean, why you need to consider carry is the most important thing, especially in your position. We have a lot of, I don't know if you've seen some of the clips, you probably should see it for just comprehension's sake, just to see some of the riots of these LGBTQ nonsense, alphabetical lettered people that heavy duty country likes to say. But anyway, the ABC's culture out there, they were doing a riot. A very quick 21-second clip I saw of basically they were saying, "We're coming for your children, we're coming for your children." And I'm like, right. Like, who even says that? Who even gathers as a community, as a culture in the first place? What? Why is that even a thing? Don't ask me. I'm not part of that culture, okay? All I'm saying is that's just not logical. Like, who even does that, right? And you're saying, well, that's not going to happen to me. I don't really see myself being in that scenario. Excuse me. But anyway, I think it's very important that you, as a stay-at-home mom, should, or at least as going to be a mom, should at least take a concealed carry class, or even get the knowledgeable reviews of other women on YouTube. There's She Equips Herself YouTube channel. I recommend that to a lot of you out there. That's something that I think there's a lot of different ways we can go about this, but I think you need to, um, I think you really just need to come up with a better solution with this. The reason why I really have this video up is because there's a lot of mass shootings that will happen because of media, because of a said election comes around, and it happens every winter. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the downside as to why I don't like winters, because you almost know it's going to happen. The bad weather comes around, then the bad vibes, and then pretty much bad people come around. That's just how it works. Okay, unfortunately, it just does. We can explain it other ways, but unfortunately, sometimes it happens that way. But those of you that are men, those of you that those of you that I probably know in real life, probably either at work or as a as a brother or a sibling, there's some things that I really think would be kind of a good idea to consider. Is your carry position, if you even carry it in the first place, is good enough to effectively be, you know, said enough to hit past said 20 yards? Because guess what? Usually at a place such as a church or a, you know, what's now? A restaurant is more than 7 yards. You know, there's more than reasons why the idea why certain guns in certain areas of the body is not exactly my recommendation. It's personal preference, I get it. But anyway, those of you that I know in real life that are not necessarily siblings or relatives, I think this is something that you need to at least wise consider. There's a lot of everything that goes on in this world, obviously, but there are some things that we need to leastwise acknowledge for the factual legal side of things. The factual things here is there's bad guys with guns, okay? And bad guys, whether they're 17 years old, whether they are 77 years old, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And it's really up to you and your personal self to come up with a solution. How am I going to defend if that was ever to happen to you? It's like a fire extinguisher. Think of it as a fire extinguisher. You have a nice big one, or you either have a really teeny little useless one, depending on the size of whatever fire you imagine you're going to possibly have. There's other recommendations for why concealed carry is an option, not just as a culture thing, not just as an obligation thing, but I think you need to understand there's way more reasons, like way more reasons than just, oh, somebody will come and attack me out in public. Oh, it happens all over the time, all over the place, all the time, all over the place. That's what I meant. Okay, there's every reason to have a position of defense and fantasy defense and being a heroic hero. We all get that all mixed in when it comes to concealed carry, but the seriousness of it is you will be in court for an extremely long time trying to deal with a scenario. Which brings me to the conclusion is you're going to have to consider what is your insurance. Is it USCCA? Is it with Delta Defense? Is it with other companies out there that are very, very willing to help you with a scenario in court like that, if you were to ever be in a scenario like that? And people don't want to get into concealed carry because of that. Well, first of all, would you rather go through court, or would you rather see, your children lying on the ground there? Keep it PG for Pete's sakes. But yeah, I can't imagine going to a funeral knowing that I could have carried a gun. Just saying. It kind of makes me think there for a second. But anyway, I think it really does put I think it really does put me in a position where it's like, wow, you realize how serious this is. You realize how you basically realize how real it is until you actually be in a scenario. You actually feel a pain for someone else. Like you see it on media. You see it on Iowa. Um, Unfortunately, Iowa, the state right under mine, right? And just the kind of pain knowing that your choices in life, knowing as a parent, you could have carried a gun. You could have been homeschooled. You probably could have done these things. I'm not blaming necessarily those parents. I'm saying those of you that are currently still alive, currently still in public school, like I said, I wouldn't want to go to a funeral knowing that I could have protected my own children, and knowing that I was a real American, willing to actually pull the trigger on an absolute dirtbag of an idiot that has no reason in his right mind to attack me or my family. So my encouragement is for those women and children, women to protect your children as well as men, stay-at-home men out there that clearly don't exactly go out in the world and really understand what hard work is really like. You probably have experienced that. That's probably why you definitely deserve to stay home now. I get that, but I think it's like I said. Just remember this: I wouldn't want to go to a funeral that I knew I could have did something better to protect those around me. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what your thoughts were in the comments, and we'll see you next time.